Hi, I'm Mike Cairns, Vehicle Line Executive for Ram Trucks. I'm here with this beautiful truck. This is our new heavy-duty pickup featuring our 6.7-liter Cummins turbo diesel engine. Now what I really want to talk about is this truck, all our heavy-duty pickups, meet the current emission requirements without requiring diesel exhaust fluid. Now, in fact, back in 2007, when we introduced the 6.7-liter engine, we met the new emission standards. So we have not had to make any major changes to this whole powertrain. Now our competitors, Ford and General Motors, recently have introduced new diesel engines that utilize a selective catalyst reduction system. And that system requires diesel exhaust fluid. This is a fluid that the customer must add every 4,000 or 5,000 mile intervals. So what is DEF? Well, let's check out the competition and I'll explain. So over here is a Ford, but this system is true for both Ford, GMC, and Chevrolet new trucks. When they recently introduced their new diesel engines, they chose to introduce this selective catalyst reduction system. Now this system requires diesel exhaust fluid. And what happens is the exhaust fluid is injected into the exhaust stream, and this DEF fluid has a nitrogen compound, which when heated turns into an ammonia, and it combines with the nitrous oxides to break them into nitrogen and water vapor essentially. It works, it's very effective, but we and our partner Cummins found a way to meet that without requiring diesel exhaust fluid. So our system, we use a lean NOx trap that essentially accomplishes the same thing and meets the federal emission standards without diesel exhaust fluid. Now, why would a customer care? What's that matter? Well, this fluid has to be refilled, there's a tank on board, refilled about every 4,000 to 5,000 miles by the customer. There's inconvenience, there's of course the cost, it runs anywhere from $5 to $10 a gallon, and then of course the inconvenience of finding the fluid because it's not readily available everywhere. Now let me go back and I'll explain a little bit more. So this is DEF, diesel exhaust fluid. What it actually is a nitrogen compound, about 32%, and water. And yes, because it has water, it freezes. Below 12 degrees Fahrenheit, it freezes. And that causes both GM and Ford, the tanks that hold the diesel exhaust fluid, have to be heated to defrost the fluid so that it can be utilized. Also, the lines that lead to the exhaust system, where it's injected into the exhaust, also are heated. So there's a lot of cost and complexity to this system. Now, again, as I mentioned, the customer has to refill this every 4,000 to 5,000 miles. This is a typical tote you'd buy, and this cost us about $14 or somewhere around $5 a gallon. Comes a little tube, and this is the filler area. You have to pour the system in, or the fluid in. Now, they wouldn't let me do this here because I might spill, and yes, this stuff's corrosive. The other problem with temperature is you might want to carry this tote around with you. But if you keep it in your car, above 90 degrees, this stuff starts to degrade. It has a limited shelf life. Normal temperatures is good for about a year, but if you keep it in your cab and you're in higher temperatures, and cabins can get very hot, the stuff will degrade maybe only 3 months worth. Now the other thing you may want to do is know, well, how much fluid do I have in my tank? Well, Ford in their instrument cluster does give you some indication, but you have to scroll through the menu system, and when you eventually find the exhaust fluid, it just says okay. It really doesn't tell you how much fluid you have or how many miles you can drive on that. So if you're going on a trip, you may be confused and not sure you have enough exhaust fluid with you. So you probably want to carry one of these totes around, but be careful because it freezes and can also degrade in higher temperatures. Now again, let me stress, our new heavy-duty pickups do not require diesel exhaust fluid. We think this is a huge competitive advantage. We don't have the cost, complexity, maintenance, etc. of this diesel exhaust fluid system that both GM and Ford have. We think it's really important to stress to our customers. Anyway, thanks for paying attention. Now go sell some trucks.